Greetings, salutations, and hello. I hope you're all doing this well on this fine Tuesday, and hopefully, this video will actually go up on Tuesday, and there's no more user errors as there was for my last video that prevented being up when I intended it to be up. But I hope you're all doing well for this Tuesday. I figure Tuesdays sound like a good day to talk about things of interest. So for my first video like this, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I get into and why my preferred and favorite genre for writing in particular is fantasy. I started writing, or started. That's honestly one of my first real memories is from when I was 4 or 5. My dad read The Hobbit to me. Um, I'm sure doing various voices and stuff like that. And I think fairly shortly afterwards, um, read The Lord of the Rings. Um, and I think not too long after, probably when I was 6 or 7, maybe even a little bit younger, The Hobbit, I think, was the first proper book, or not just a kids or directed to kids book. I know there's some debate there. I personally think I'm personally of the opinion that The Hobbit is, the story was certainly Tolkien certainly came up with the story to tell his children, but he wrote it as sort of an all ages book, in part to sort of see if he could write a detailed prose narrative, is my understanding. But that's really where the love of that came from. I just remember being absolutely captivated by the story. I have actually several versions. This is a lovely 70th anniversary copy, which was contains Tolkien's original cover design that he wanted to use. Um, I still One of my absolute favorite book bindings and printings is the copy. I couldn't tell you what edition, but it's sort of a you know green leather, has the name in runes down the spine, in a in a nice case for it. It's absolutely one of my favorite book printings and bindings. And I just remember being captivated by the story and everything. I mean, just from a young age, the map, and I mean, just these, I mean, the drawings that Tolkien made and included. This one from, you know, just absolutely beautiful artwork that he created for it. I'm trying to find my favorite one here. Oh, yeah, this might be, they're all amazing, but this might be my favorite illustration in the book. And that's really where my love of fantasy, that sort of combination of history and myth and story and philosophy, delving into good and evil and sort of magic and wonder, as well as evil and darkness to overcome. It really has, just ever since that first reading when I was 4 or 5, has absolutely captivated me. I would say to this day that Lord of the Rings is still my favorite book. I've got I think it's the 50th anniversary edition, right over there. Um, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, particularly the extended edition, of my favorite movies. I mean, that's another just very vivid, as how excited I was for each of those movies to come out. It's a story I always love to tell, that I was 14 and went to the very first available showing of Fellowship of the Ring that didn't coincide with school, or, absolutely packed theater. And right as the Fellowship gets to Rivendell, that very first viewing, the film all of a sudden jumped to the Fellowship on Mount Caradros and started running upside down and backwards. This was back in the day, Some of you some of you will remember, some of you this will be a very strange couple of sentences, but films used to be on actual like film that they had to wind on a canister, and since that would have taken several hours very likely to fix, everybody in the theater got sort of a free ticket to come back later, so I came back the following day to watch the complete movie, and then the day after that I had my wisdom teeth removed. So that's a very clear memory of that right before Christmas, and then going to see Two Tower. I saw it several more times in theaters. Saw Two Towers at least 3 times in theaters. Return of the King at least 3 times in theaters. I have the extended editions on DVD still. Um, my wife and I just watched them. Not the DVDs. Rather than dig those out, we just watch the extended versions on HBO. But that's really been a core passion of mine ever since. Um, is watching is fantasy, and that's really spread out to a lot of other different things. I've read and loved the Silmarillion, lots of Tolkien's other work. I've spread out. I'm a big fan, and some others I'm a really big fan of are I know it's parody as much as anything else, but a huge fan of Terry Pratchett's Discworld series. I'm a tremendous fan of all of Neil Gaiman's works. Um, First introduced them sort of a more modern urban fan. I don't know what the right word for it is, whether it's even fantasy, but first became familiar with his collaboration with between Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman, Good Omens when I was in high school, and I've moved on to absolutely like I love Neil Gaiman's books, American Gods, Anansi Boys, Stardust. It's also one of my favorite movies is Stardust. Um, just absolutely brilliant movie. And yeah, that's just been a big passion of mine. I really love the first few books and first few seasons of George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire. I might talk and rant about this in a future video, but I feel like that sort of, for various reasons of which I have theories on, sort of got lost in the weeds and a little too lost in sort of, you know, while Tolkien might be a little sanitized away from the real world in some ways, although someone who's really read Lord of the Rings in depth, it's a little hard to say that it's completely sanitized. There is some dark stuff in there and some of his other work, but I digress. Is a little bit lost in the weeds for my personal opinion in sort of brutality and almost fantastic brutality for brutality's sake. Things like that didn't happen. Just the focus and the emphasis on it, plus some stuff with the story. I'm getting lost in the weeds. The three first three books in the Song of Ice and Fire series are amazing. First three series of the seasons of the HBO series are amazing. One of these days I might finish the HBO series because I know after the third season the ending I know is very controversial, but I know there's some great stuff in the intervening 4 series, 5 series. I don't know how many, but anyway, it's and that's always where I've had a lot of passion is with fantasy and what just that world and the way it sparks my imagination has always been a big thing for me. So yeah, that's why I love, and that's my favorite genre to work in. I'm going to talk in some of these later videos about other genres, other things I'm interested in. I might break down more series. Let me know, in the comments if you have any suggestions, any questions, anything you'd like me in particular to talk about in these hopefully regular Tuesday videos. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, comments, ask questions. Love all of that. Um, the two books I've written are The Shadow of the Pastman and The Sun Burnt Red are both available on Amazon. I will leave a link for that below, as well as a link for my personal website where I have a blog and update and excerpts on my efforts towards writing my third book, which I'm currently calling When Gods Do Metal. Um, but yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you all soon. And yeah, hope it's a good one.